Why not you? Why not now? The reason this is a topic of mine is because my lovely wife, okay, is now a published author. Okay, not the author of confusion, a self-published author. And I know people sometimes look and say, well, that's just because she married a KevOnStage, no, man. She is just a regular person who wanted to write a book and wrote a book. Okay, V. George Smith is here. I don't think V. George has a record label. He doesn't have a huge advance, but he's released CDs. Why? Because it's in his heart to write songs. And he does whatever he has to do, saves money, pays for studio time, does whatever he has to do, and then he makes his CDs and he sells them. Okay? Won't he do it, Joshua? Won't he will? I think a lot of times we look at the success of other people doing stuff, and instead of trying to do our stuff, we make excuses for why they can and why we can't. And we got to stop being like that, because there is nothing stopping you from doing what you want to do but you. I wanted to make a movie. Okay? I crowdfunded $15,000 to make a movie. But guess what? Even if I didn't get $15,000, I was going to make the movie. I was going to save my money. I was going to call my favors in. Or I was going to write it with 3 people in it. And I was going to do it. And I don't have no rich uncle. No rich granddaddy. I don't have no huge trust fund. Nothing, man. I don't make a whole lot of money. But I did what I said I was going to do. Do what you love. It's in your heart and on your mind. Go for it. No $1 million loan. No small loan of $1 million from my father who built a real estate. None of that stuff. Okay? Why do we think that we can't do? We can. You can. It's possible. My wife was all types of afraid. All kinds of afraid. Well, I'm not you, Kev. You just get up and do stuff. You gotta know what I do. I just do stuff before I can talk myself out of it. That's my mantra. When I want to do, and that's not always the best way to do things, but usually I get stuff done. But I just do stuff before I can talk myself out of it. I just go. Ain't no rhyme or reason, ain't no blueprint. I'm not saying you shouldn't plan. I'm saying some people want everything to be perfect before they do it. Well, I just got to save X out of my, I got to do this, got to do that. But they don't do no part of starting no plan. My wife legitimately thought she was like, I'm not even joking. I'm not even doing this to really promote her book. But if you want to buy it, MissKevOnStage.com, pre-order right now. If you pre-order, she'll sign a copy and send it. But I'm not here to promote. But she really, in her mind, was like, if I could only sell 10 copies. Total, y'all, like from beginning to end. She thought she would sell 10 copies. And then when she had the Gap Fest, she was like, okay, I'll buy 50 books. I'll sell maybe 20 or 30 at the Gap Fest. And then I'll sell maybe a couple other of my family and friends. And then a total 50. But her first thought before they were going to do the Gap Fest was like, I will sell 10 copies. I was like, woman, I can buy 11. Just me, Kel, I got enough money to buy 11. Woman, who is you talking about? 10? 10? You could sell 10 on accident. But that's what we do, and that's what she was doing, and I wouldn't let her, and her friends wouldn't let her. It wasn't just me. It was Shari, Sharice, Jay. She was trying to talk herself out of writing the book. Well, I shouldn't do. I'm not really, and I didn't go to school. So what? I didn't go to school for what I'm doing for my living. Wasn't really no school. I went to school for sociology and never began to do no socio, no ology, no social work, nothing with socio. I barely even got my social security number. So what? Why can't you do it, and why not now? Why it gotta be later? Why it gotta be next year? Why it gotta be when you save this? Why can't it be right now? Right now! Barely. I told myself I was gonna write a movie and produce it, and I did it. And then I wrote and produced another one. Now I'm 2 movies in. Me! By the grace of God and by the fervor and will of my own work. The Bible says, faith without what? Works is dead. Huh? Faith without what? Works. Is dead. Faith without works is dead. Faith without work. I've been looking at businesses. We were at Red Robin on Saturday eating lunch. And I was looking on the sign, and the first Red Robin was made in 1969. And now it's a franchise all over the world. First Starbucks was in 1970 or something like that. Like, these businesses were built in a lifetime. Franchises all over the world. Like, why can't you do that? Why can't you do that? Why can't you start with one Starbucks, one book? See, my goal for Melissa, and she kind of has this, but I'm pushing it. She wants to help women and speak. And I said, you don't become Oprah overnight, but you can start with one book. One book, which leads to one speaking engagement. One conference, which leads to your second conference. One speaking engagement becomes 5 a year. Next thing you know, you're speaking 50 times a year. Next thing you know, you got 100 dates on the calendar, and you're 40 years old. Why? Why can't you do it? Why? Add all them ones up. And next thing you know, you don't go to work unless you want to. But it starts with one thing, one page, one letter of your book, one word. The first word becomes the first sentence. The first sentence becomes the first paragraph. The first paragraph becomes the first chapter. First chapter becomes the first book. And the beginning of an empire. It all starts with one. My YouTube channel started with one video. I remember the first video I got like 17 views. 0 followers. Zay had more than me. Playmakers had more than me. All that. And I'm not even big on YouTube. I'm getting big on Facebook, but I'm not even big on any one platform. But my stand-up career started with me getting on stage one time. The first time. One. So stop talking yourself out of it, because it's going to be hard enough. There's going to be enough. This is what I always tell people, man. It's going to be enough in your way regardless of what you do. There's enough obstacles. So at least take yourself out of the equation. You're not going to win the battle fighting against yourself, talking yourself out of it. There's enough obstacles. Monetary, fatigue, work, student loans, fear, whatever. But putting yourself in there is like, okay, at least you got to be in it all the way. You got to be in it all the way. And I know her confidence is going to grow. Now she's like, well, I hope people like it. What if they don't like it? What if they're disappointed? So? You wrote this for you, girl. So you could say you wrote a book. I know people will like it personally. This is a good book. We paid for the editor. The money came out of my account. She didn't just do it. She paid for the editor. But if nobody likes it, not one person on earth buys it, even if she didn't sell one copy, it's still a success. Because you did something that you set out to do. Don't despise small beginnings. Just because maybe she's not a New York Times bestseller the first go around. You know how many people say they want to write a book and never do? She was like, well, what if it's not long enough? So what? Who decides what's long enough? Who decides what's good? Who? What are you waiting for? Why can't you do it? Because I'm going to do mine. Y'all ain't going to just sit here. You really wanted to do that? Why not you? Why not now? Because you're going to cause an accident. Y'all going to sit here and y'all going to watch me build this empire, and we the same age or somewhere close in age, and y'all going to be like, dang, Kev really did it. Yes. And don't look at me. I want to cheer you on. Dream costs, man. Invest in yourself. Yes. My wife wanted to sell, like I said, 10 books. She should hold 160 books. We saved the money. We put money that we took from our jobs And we saved it so we could pay for an editor. My wife, the good thing about it, she ain't gonna do it because I wouldn't even have paid for an editor. I would have had my homegirl proofread it. But she paid for a book editor. She paid for, you know, real designs and stuff. And guess what? She more than likely broke even this weekend. But first, she said, I want to do it. Second, she saved. Third, she asked me for some money. Fourth, she did it. And now it's on sale. We are going to die, people. Okay? Look at me. Look at me. We are going to die. Eventually. Regardless of how successful or not successful you are going to die. So why die wondering why or what if? That's my only real fear in life. Not failing. I failed all day long. I failed more times than I succeeded. I can live with failure. I cannot live with not knowing. I would rather shoot a shot. I did my comedy DVD and didn't sell that much, like less than 100 copies. Did my movie and didn't sell that much. Didn't really promote it well either. But I am out here shooting my shot. You will never say, well, Kev didn't even try. Before I quit basketball, I was like, I'm going to go to the NBA. That was my dream. Go to the NBA. Before I quit, I went to a Division II college and tried out. They recruited me. I went over to Northwest Middle Tree Valley State in the Buck Woods of Washington and got crossed up over and over, dunked on, ran around, got jumper shot all in my eye. And I was like, okay, this is not for me. When the white boy was crossing me left and right, do you hear me? This white boy crossed me upside down. Big boy, I was like, I'm not fast enough for him, not strong enough for him. Let me stop here. But I tried. And that wasn't even at University of Washington. And I can live with that. But it took somebody crossing me from sea to shining sea. This boy crossed me from inline to inline. Jumper wet in my eyes. I was crying at the end. This white boy shot so many jumpers in my eyes. His jumper was so wet, I was crying. I was like, Jesus. But guess what? I was out there. I was on the court. You should never be able to say, I don't know what would have happened. Because when you sit on your deathbed or you're passing away or whatever, or you're just old and you can't do it, you should never wonder what it could have been. I don't really know exactly what I'm doing in life, but I'm out here. That's what I do know. I don't know exactly how this is going to end. Whether I become a movie producer or writer or actor or stand-up comedian star or motivational speaker or preacher. Open my own church. electronicchurch.com. I'm going to be out here. And you should be too. Because this is your life. You only get one crack at this, baby boy. One crack at it. And you're never too young and you're never too old. I'm on the 405. Why not you? Why not now? Boston Quince, welcome back. I ain't seen you. Good to see your face. Praise God, you were missed, son. You were missed. Stephen, you were missed. And I'm glad you're back. All right, y'all. Go and get after it today. Do it. Just do it. AIDS, I got AIDS, a musical. I done forgot all about that. All right, y'all. God bless you. God keep you. We'll see you at the conference.